to be here, and it's a good day to be alive. Say thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Uh, a couple of things that I want to keep in touch. Today is August 14th. I'm still sipping tea, so it's early and it's summer winding down. I can't begin to tell you how much I just feel great. Too bad summer is going down. Just yesterday, I was in my garden yesterday evening and I looked at my flowers and I feel bad because I didn't really give them the attention I should have given them from early June into July because I don't know what I was thinking. It was too hot, I got, or whatever. And now suddenly I'm out there. So I feel badly, but fall is coming. So that gives me another chance to encourage my plants before it gets really cold. You know what I mean? It's still warm and stuff, so it's hot. May not be as hot as it is in some other areas of the country, but it's still hot. And I expect that we're going to have an active hurricane season, which means that that being the case, it's just going to be hot and it's just going to be live. Uh, so we're talking today about how important friendship is to a relationship, and I wanted to kind of say that because I find that relationships today are quite the thing. So I'm also on Instagram. So hey everybody, welcome to Instagram. Just letting you know we're live. So join us on YouTube.com. We're talking about how important friendship is in relationships. And we're also talking about today, August the 14th, is the 400th year anniversary of the arrival of Black slaves to the Americas. So that's something that should not go unnoticed or uncelebrated or forgotten, right? So make sure you join us. We're on youtube.com/Harriet Kamek. And make sure you join us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Thanks so much. See you there. And so I wanted to make sure that people realize that what's going on. It's 400 years, y'all. It's not something to to forget about. It's 400 years, right? It's 400 years. It's something we need to celebrate that. Uh, just like we celebrate everything else, we should. There's a lot going on. What do you all think about that rapper? What's his name? ASAP Rocky. Who is he? I don't even know him. And I check with the young people around there. They're like sort of alternative, so they don't know him either. So I just want to know. Uh, he's now charged with assault in Sweden. I guess he can't go back because he's back home, right? He's back here in the States, so he can't go back home. He can't go back to Sweden. Wow, that's gonna be something, don't you think? I wouldn't want to be in his shoes because I like being an international citizen, right? I like being able to go from one country to the other and to feel like I can go to somebody else's country and I'm fine, right? Oh, this thing is heavy, right? So I don't like the idea of being having restrictions on my travel and having restrictions on my mobility. That's not something I feel like I ever want to explore. I always feel like I want to be able, I'm free to go wherever I want to go, kind of thing, right? So I don't know about ASAP Rocky. I guess he can never go back to Sweden. Hey, am I married? Not yet. I've been married. I was married. I'm divorced. So I should make that as a disclaimer so people don't think that I'm out here just telling people what to do, having never walked the travails of marriage. I was married for 13 years. If you can't believe that. No way am I a mom. Yes, I am. I'm mother to two beautiful daughters. I think they would object to me not claiming them, though I try to all the time. Every now and then I do tell people that I'm their sisters and not their mom. And I'm behind them saying, no, I'm not her mom. And they're like, Mom. And I'm like, shut up. Right? But thank God for the beauty that you see. Thank God for that. I give God the glory for that. I've been through many travails, but the Bible says that He will give you beauty for ashes, and I have found that to be true. I have found in my experience that that is true, right? And thank you for recognizing it. I did spend time on myself. I look young. I don't want to say that, but because they're watching, they might be. You know how creepy children are. Your children watch you more than you think, right? But the honest truth is, I've also eaten well most of my life. Thank God. I've been blessed and I've maintained, like a regimen of always taking vitamins. I've been regularly taking vitamins since I was 18. I've always eaten my veggies, right? I still eat veggies with breakfast sometimes, and I drink a lot of water. And over the years, I recognize that stress plays a role in life. So I've tried really hard to stay away from stress and learn to unpack the traumatic events that took place, right? So I encourage folks to do the same because I've seen how that has impacted people's health. Hey, so and that's what brings me to the place to talk about friendships in relationships, because can I adopt you? Well, kind of. They're probably going to think you're too you're a little past 18, so they probably wouldn't let me adopt you. You know what I mean? I wish. But they probably would think, oh well, right? So to my friends on Facebook, I don't always see my Facebook comments, just so you know, right? Oh, you're 19? Yeah, they wouldn't let me adopt you. Right? So to my friends on Facebook, I don't always see your comments, so don't feel badly, right? But it is what it is. So I want to talk about the fact that, let me just give you a brief disclosure. It's 400 years since the first black slaves. I don't know what the conversation is about. So you're gonna roll with it. You're in it. Well, you're on the lodge with it. You're on the lodge with it, right? So just roll with it. I did post it on Twitter and Periscope. The conversation is about how important are friendships and relationships. And I think that's something we can all relate to. We've all had that instance. Yes, I have a man. But he doesn't come on camera. He doesn't like that, right? Yeah, he stays in the background, but he's there. Right? But we can all relate to the fact that we've all had friends who have been too interfering, or friends who, are you really saying that? Lucky mom? Dang. He better love you. He should. He should. I think he does. We'll see. But we've all had those friends whom we have questioned. We've wondered. Good morning. Hey. Hey, everybody. Are you saying bye already? I deserve the best. Thank you. Thank you. And we've all had, those kinds of friends who we've wondered about their motives, right? And I was thinking about it this morning because I had an experience that kind of brought this to the forefront and brought this up in my thoughts. And I made me wonder if others are going through this too. I'm pretty sure that they are, right? You're going to drop the follow? Okay. Okay. All right, let me see who's following you, right? Am I following you right now? Okay, I need to look you up so I can follow you too. Okay. So I'm gonna view your profile. And the reason I'm saying that, I like your picture. That's a good one. I like the picture, dude. And the reason I'm saying that is because recently, someone I know, we had been friends. You remember when we were in school and we used to have that saying that says, I met you as a stranger, I took you as a friend. And this is the part that kind of creepy, but it says, I hope we'll meet in heaven where friendships never end. So I met someone and I took her as a friend. I mean, she was a lovely person. She had a big heart. We hung out and so on. But for some reason, she had other friends. And you know how that is. You have a circle of people. She had other friends who were around her, and the other friends did not like me. And so whenever she tried to bring me, it was important to her that any friends she has fit into this circle of people whom she has known forever. And so when she brought me into their group, they didn't like me. And she reacted to their not liking me. And it devastated our friendship. After a while, she stopped calling, she stopped hanging out. So I called her and I'm like, what happened? Did I say what happened here? And she said she just needed a break and a timeout and so on. And I really thought that that was, unique. It didn't seem to fit with the friendship that we had established. And so when she didn't want to talk to me, we didn't talk. I let it go, and about a year later I tried to talk to her. She still said she still needed more time. She wasn't ready to talk yet. And I let it go. So about 2 years later, this happened some time ago, I kind of reached out to her to get an idea of what was going on. And just like I suspected, it was her friends who did not like me that she was reacting to, but she couldn't say it at the time. There is that little thing of jealousy, right? You have to be real careful about people who come into your life. And I say this because we all know it to be true. You have to be real careful about people who like to they come into your life, or you have known them forever. Sometimes we have known people forever. Some of us are more comfortable with our old friends because we've known them forever, and we don't acquire new friends because we don't trust people. I get that. And so we have these friends around us who sometimes are friend enemies. You know what that is? Friends who are your enemies, but they pretend to be friends. Right? And how we allow those friendships to matriculate and develop over time, they do have impact on our relationships. We don't pay much attention because we trust them, we think we can. But sometimes those very friendships inhibit your personal growth. Those very friendships prevent you from moving forward. They want you to stay in a box. They don't want you to ever grow. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Right? Thank you. Right? And what happens is they don't want you to grow. They want you to stay confined to the same space that they have so that you can be their friend forever. They don't want you to grow. And you don't see it because you're still friend, and you think we grew up thinking that we are dependent on others. We grew up thinking that our lives, our success, our destinies, our projects, and everything we want to do is dependent on how others view us, is dependent on how the people around us think it's a good idea. It's dependent on how the people around us react. We want their support. We think that their support and their validation is the only source and validation in the whole world. So we put a lot of import into how those people are around us. And we really have never looked at their motives. Just like my friend, she never really looked at the motives of her friends. In their group, there was no one like me. I was the most progressive, the most successful. Naturally, they would not want her to be around me because if she stayed around me, she's going to move away from them. They wanted her to stay confined in that little world and stay in that little world and just be in that little world. And she couldn't see it. And maybe she had insecurities about evolving out of that. And you know me, I'm just me all day. I don't get attached to people and have these attachments that I can't shake. I am going to press on and continue. So it made me, it inspired me because I felt like I needed to talk about this to encourage and to encourage somebody else to get on with it. You have something going on with friends who don't want to share you, and friends who don't feel like that this is something that they should talk about. You all need to be real careful about what you are doing. You all need to be really, really concerned about who you hang out with, who you spend time with. Believe it or not, it's very, very important. One of the things I learned on my journey as I moved forward in life was that there were some people Thank you. You're welcome. There were some people who could not stay on the journey with me, right? I learned, and you're gonna be blessed by this. You've been in a lot of fake friendships. Keep listening. You're gonna be blessed. Just keep listening. I promise you, right? One of the things I learned is that life is like it's a destination, right? It's a journey to the destination, right? And life is like a train. And so what happens is there are a lot of people that get on your train. Your train stops at different stations. A lot of people get on. Some people stay on for a while and some people drop off. I have learned that when they drop off and they get off at a station, don't go chasing them. Let them go. Let them go. They need to go learn. They need to go develop. They need to take their drama and their stress away from you, right? I have learned that people come into your life for a reason and a season. When it's their time to go, let them go. I know it's painful and it's hurtful, but sometimes the growth that they need has to be independent of you. Sometimes they need to be away from you to experience certain things so they can appreciate you when they come back. They can't deal with you as you are because they don't know how to. So let them go. I have learned not to hang on to people. Sometimes you can hang on to the wrong person in the wrong season, the wrong time, and therefore you inhibit your own growth. I have also learned that there are some people you have to learn to keep. There are some people who come into your life that you really have to work at keeping, right? And you got to know who to keep, when to keep them, and how to keep them. There are some friendships you have to prune and preserve because they're valuable to you. Those friendships will take you places. Those friendships see the best in you and bring out the best in you. Always surround yourself with people who celebrate you, not people who tolerate you, not people who, because you went to high school together, not people because you grew up on the same block together. Some of those very people are envious of your success. You ever look at the people in Hollywood who are successful, right? You ever really notice they don't hang out with people from way back when? You ever notice they don't hang out with people who from 30, 40 years ago, whom they went to high school with? There's a reason for that. You want to know what the reason is? Because they have found over time some of those people are very jealous. Those people tend to carry jealous traits with them that they never get over. And so you think that hanging out with them, they'll drag you down into disgrace. They'll drag you down. They will criticize you. Those are your friend enemies, the ones who criticize you, but say they're doing it from love. Get rid of them. Get them out of your life. Right? So how important are these people to your relationship? Here you are trying to build a relationship, and yet here are these people telling you what kind of friendships you should have. They discourage. Ever notice that you have some friends who, when people come around you, they do a pretty good job of weeding out. They do a pretty good job of weeding out terrible people. They do a pretty good job of getting good people out of your life. You have to watch them and see what their trend patterns are. There are some people in my circle, when new people want to come into my circle, I bring them through a filter of people. There are some people whom I trust who have my best interest at heart. So if they don't like someone, chances are I'm not going to talk to that person again because I trust that they see something in that person. This happened to me 2 years ago. A young woman came into my circle and she wanted to be around me, and I was pretty sure that I wasn't so sure that I trusted her, but she was nice. And she was trying to really get my attention, and I wanted to help her. She knew how to appeal to my sympathies and how to appeal to my mentorship. So at first I was leaving her in the context of just mentoring her, but she wanted to be a friend. So I ran her by a friend of mine. I just took her around that friend, and that friend was like, no, I don't trust her. Immediately she said, my instincts, I don't trust her. There's something about her, I don't trust her. So I started the process of, keeping her away from me. My friend was not wrong. That girl ended up stabbing me in the back and stabbing the knife so deep, she kind of richeted. By the time that happened, I had already introduced her to other people in my circle. She went on a rampage to people whom I knew, to make sure that she kind of cornered them and kind of got them into her circle. I blocked her. I still don't talk to her to this day. And by the way, she's still working on it. She's still trying to get to people whom I know and using my name to get to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you see how important it is? That's a valuable lesson that I learned, right? And I remember someone saying, well, Harry, mentor her. And I'm like, you have, until this happens to you, you have no idea what it feels like to be backstabbed. And for someone you took as a friend and treated them well to go behind your back and do things behind your back, until it happens to you, you have no idea what it feels like. So I'm like, you can stay over there and mentor them all you want. I leave you with them. And I stayed away from that person too. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very, and I remember thinking, I said, what if I had brought her into my intimate relationship? What would she have done if she had that kind of access? Do you see what I'm saying? You have to be really careful about people who want to say they're friendships. There are all kinds of ships. Friendship is the greatest ship. Being a friend to someone or being someone's friend is highly valued, is highly sought after. Sometimes a friend is better than family members. Sometimes a friend will stay with you when everybody else didn't. When I was going through my mother's death, the persons who stayed were friends. My family members deserted me. My family members had nothing to do with me. My family members didn't try to love us. They didn't try to stay with, they didn't try to understand. They were rude, rambunctious. Forget about being rude. They were horrible people. They acted, their actions all were hurtful and despicable, caused so much friction and hurt that I separated from them. But the friendships whom I had, friends are sometimes family members. Absolutely. They're better than. But the friends that I had, they were the ones who would check on me. They were the ones who stayed with me. They were the ones who said, how are you doing? They were the ones who said, no, you can't do this right now. You can't make this decision right now. You can't do anything right now. Do you see what I'm saying? Friendships. So, in other words, then, we have to evaluate the people who come into our lives to determine if they are friendships. What ship are you coming in on? Are you coming in on the guilt ship? Are you coming in on the bad ship? But if you're going to come in on the friendship, here is a criteria that you must fit. What's that criteria? Friendship, love, trust, honesty. Those things, integrity, those things are not in place, then we're not talking about friendship. If you don't have integrity, if you're coming in seeking to kill, seeking to destroy, trying to devalue the relationship, you're not my friend. So you have a relationship, whether you're married or in a committed relationship, and you have friends who are always talking bad about your spouse. Well, I say talking bad because your spouse is not a bad person to you, to the community, nor anybody else, but this person is always talking bad about them. You would need to ask them, why do you always say bad things about him? If he's not abusive to you, your spouse is not abusive to you, why are you always saying bad things about them? If they can't justify it, give them some distance. You have a friend who is always talking bad about your dreams and ambitions. Be careful of that one. That's a particular type of friend you need to absent yourself from. The one who always talks bad about your dreams and ambitions. Be real careful, because they're going to paint themselves like they're your master, like they're your sage, like they're your guide, they're your instructor. But they really are not. They're really just jealousy shrouded in kindness. They're not kind. There's nothing kind. They're really a snake in the grass. You have to be really careful about those friends. You're at work and somebody cultivates a friendship with you, but you notice they're always competing with you, and everything that you do, they try to take the credit for it. You know those kind of people? So they make it sound like it's their idea first. They're always one-upmanship with you. That's not a friend. That's an enemy, dude. You need to stay away from that. You're a guy and you're trying to go after a girl, and every girl you've ever tried to go after, you have a friend who tries to go after the same girl until the girl gets tired and just doesn't talk to you anymore. That's not a friend. That's a snake, right? They come like wolves in sheep's clothing. They're always, oh man, I love you. Be careful. If their actions do not match up to their words, leave them alone, right? Leave them alone, because friendship is supposed to be a lifetime. Friendships are designed to empower you. Your friend is the one who, whether you're right or wrong, is there for you. Your friend will say, you know what, you were wrong this time, but I'm still going to back you up. Your friend is the one who says, really, they did that to you? I'm on my way. Your friend is the one who said, just stay right there. I'll be right there. I'm coming right now. Drop everything to come to you. That's a friend. A friend is someone who is there regardless. Sometimes we've all had those cases in life where suddenly divorce creeps upon you, but you still have a friend who still comes and help you move and help you pack up. A friend who helps you find a divorce lawyer. A friend who helps you get things in order. A friend who walks you through the many transitions and seasons of life. That's a friend. If you're not going to be that kind of friend, frankly, leave and leave people alone. If you're going to go into people's lives and pretend to be friends and destroy their lives, you need to go time out and go sit by your lonesome, miserable self. People who are not friendly, people who don't affirm friends, are people who are miserable, are people who are lonely, are people who are destructive. You need to stay. You know who you are. Stay by your miserable selves. They say misery loves company. Well, surround yourself with a bunch of miserable people like yourselves. You have people who you've had their friends with you to move forward. Every time you say you're going to do this or do that, they discourage you. Well, why you want to change your job? Why you want to work so far away? It's too far. It's an opportunity, but it's far away. It's going to advance you, bring you closer to what you want, but they're discouraging you. Why do you want to put so many miles on your car? Can your car drive that far? How much will it cost you for gas? Why are you going over there to work with those people? Those people are bad. Be careful, people like that, right? They're not good for you and they're destructive, right? And sometimes we allow these people to come into our lives without realizing how much we ourselves bring them in. I told you about the young lady. I know she was trying to creep up, but the way she did was she's sociopathic. She profiled me and realized that the best way for her to come in was to appear to be in need of something that I had. And like everybody else, I have a responsibility as a public profile to help others. So I'm going to live up to it. So I'm not going to not help you if you come forward asking for help. I'm going to point you in the right direction, or I'm going to, if it's something that I can do, I will try to help you right away. She knew that. And so she appealed to that. And then she went behind my back and went to a radio station and got herself on it, knowing she had no talent, but used my name because my name and my reputation is good. Can you believe it? She did that. And it was the craziest thing is the other people whom I introduced her to thought she was the salt of the earth. She presented herself as sweet and nice, and they couldn't see what I was saying. I said, well, I'll let you find out. You will find out. Stay over there until you find out. There are some people who come into our lives, and as I say often, people come into our lives for reasons, and they have a season, and you need to let them go. There's some of you who have been holding on to negative, toxic people for more than 20 or 30 years. Let them be. They're toxic. What have you gained? Every time they come around you, they bring stress and distress. They always make you feel like they're better than you. Hey, why are you hanging out with people who think they're better than you? Why aren't you hanging with people who see the good in you, who see the greatness in you and bring it out? There is a difference, a very strong difference in between somebody who knows you and sees you. I know you agree with me, right? And sees your potential and harnesses that potential and help you discover and utilize the potential. But there's a big difference between someone who thinks that they're inherently better than you, either socially, professionally, academically, right? Or physically. And the persons who think they're better than you socially, you really need to stay away from. If all they're going to come and do is sit down every day and tell you how, well, I was at so-and-so having high tea with so-and-so, stay away from them, right? If they're going to come and tell you, well, I am now vice president and you're still just trying to make it out of your cubicle, stay away from that. Right? If they're going to come and show you that they bought a new Range Rover, but you're still driving your hoopty and your put-put, if they're not saying, come on, let's go for a ride, or come on, let's see how we, just you're my friend, let's go for a ride. But if they're going to show you the new things and They're showing off. You know those friends who are show offs? And yet there's some of us who like to have people whom we feel that we're better at. They're egotists. They're still not friends. And you know how you're going to find out? When something happens to you and you need them, they're not there. Some of us build relationships with people and attachments to people, and we feel that they have to look up to me. There's a person I know who's like that. None of his friends own a business. None of his friends are financially stable. He's the only one in his friends group who is. Everybody has to look up to him and call him the great man. Those are not friends, sir. Those are not your friends. Those are friend enemies, and they're waiting for your downfall. And when your downfall comes, they'll be there and laughing. You go out and you buy a new Mercedes, and you think you're hot, and you're showing it off to them, and they're still driving their put. And you're still taking them out to the bar, by the way, sir. You're still buying their food, paying their bills. Those are not friends. Friends are people whom you are on par with. Friends are people who strive for parity and whom you see just as a friend. Say hello, someone. Say hello, right? I know you agree. Just nod your head. You agree, right? Be careful of people who come into your lives. So you meet someone. This is your second marriage, your second relationship. You meet somebody, right? My buddy over here, bless you. Thank you, right? And you meet somebody. And you come over and you meet them and you bring your friends over. And you know it's a real friend when they say, well, let me see what happens. Well, how you feel about this one? Okay, all right. But if they're going to say, what you doing with her? That girl thinks she's all that. That girl thinks she's this. That girl thinks she's that. Examine where it's coming from. You know, my ex-boyfriend had friends like that. They called me names. Yeah, they told him all kinds of things about my ethnic heritage. I realized that what they were doing is because they're not the kind of people whom I would ever talk to. So they discouraged him from ever being so close to me because it was a threat to them. Because there's no way I would put up with foolishness like that. Do you see what I'm saying? So he thought they were his friends. I'm not going to interfere with what his thought process was. Let him think they're his friends. Because they're nothing but friend enemies. People who can't see the good in others. People who can't see progress. They want you to stay the same. They want him always to be hanging out with them, always going out and always paying their bills so they can have access to him. That to him and to them, that was what characterized friendship. I was like, why aren't you friends with people whom you're on par with? Why aren't you friends with people you're on the same level with? It's like a guy told me once that he didn't get married for a long time because he said he was always in the club. And he said he considered himself a whore. And he said he was in the club all the time. And then he met someone he wanted to marry. And he realized he would have not married her because all his friends around him were what? The same. They all went to the club. His friends were whores. He had to change his friend circle in order to stay married. That was so eye-opening for a man. I literally did this. He had to change his friend circle. He said, now I have all my friends are married. So I'm surrounded by men like myself who are married, and we hold each other accountable. Wow, what a revelation. I heard that was from a friend of mine. I heard this from another young man. In his friend circle, he's the only one who is married. He's married with 3 children to the same woman. Most of his friends have multiple children with multiple women. He's the only one, and the pressure on him. Why you still stay with her? Why are you with her? He said, for my own stability, so I don't have to pay child support here, there, and there. And my children are all in one place. I go home to one bed at night, the same bed. Praise the Lord. Right? You're with an amazing girl. Get married. She's amazing. She amazes you and you amaze her. Mutual happiness. Go on. Be blessed. I bless you with that. Right? It's a different thing. Do you see what I'm saying? So you meet amazing people in your life. Be careful. Guys, let me just say this. Let me just say this. Look, if you have friends and you have someone in your life and your friends are always inviting you to the bar, those friends are always saying, man, come on over. Man, let's just go hang out. Oh, you spending time with that girl again? You're pussy whipped. If they're going to tell you stuff like that, you need to leave them alone. Run from them. They're not your friends. Because there is a thing called life that's going to catch up with all of us. And the seeds that we sow, we reap. And when you need someone to be there for you, they're not the kind of friends who can be there. When you need to go to the hospital, they're not there. When you need multiple trips to the doctor, they're not there. When you laid up in a hospital bed and nobody comes to see you, nobody comes to bring you water, nobody loves you enough to spend hours with you. Have you ever gone to a hospital room and seen people laid up and nobody ever visits them and see the loneliness and how they feel about themselves? Any friend who is going to constantly deride the persons you date, any friend who is going to constantly invite you to be with them all the time and take you away from some guy or girl whom you like, that you can see a future with, you need to get rid of them quick, fast, and in a hurry. I don't know who that was for. If they're always telling you to come to their place, come hang with them, but they don't have anything positive to show you. They're not even married themselves, right? They're not even showing you anything. They always want you to come and be away from this and be away from that woman and be away from her, be away from her. So which woman do you like that I have? Which guy do you like that I have? You like me for you or something? Any friend who is going to take you away from a long-standing relationship, you need to separate yourself from. That's not a friend. I talk to people all day who are sick, people who are in the hospital. Do you know how difficult life is? Jesus, I pray for myself that I never end up in a hospital and need people to come visit me. I pray that I never end up in a hospital and need people or be in a sick bed and need someone to come and bring me water. I pray that I'll be strong all the days of my life. I pray that over you, because I tell you the things I see when people get sick and nobody comes to visit them. What are you all doing with your lives? This is the time when you build something with someone. Don't listen to those naysayers and those jokers. They don't have a clue what can happen with life. In fact, some of them are going to be cut off from the earth because they don't have a clue what can happen in life. You need friends who are going to stick to you closer than a brother. Do you think your family members are always there? When my mother was sick, the people whom she took care of the most were the ones who abandoned her the most. And there I was, gave up everything so she could have life, so she could feel some dignity in her late years. Do you hear what I'm saying? Right? And there were people whom she gave her best life to, people whom she lived for many years, for decades. Those were the people who abandoned her when she needed them the most. I am telling you, invest in good people. When good people come into your life, stick to them and stick with it. Don't let others try to pull you away from good people. That's what happened to my ex-boyfriend. He's out there floundering and wandering because when a good person walked into his life, all he did was let others tell him what to do. And when it hits the skids, there's not going to be one of them to bring him water. Not going to be one of them to clean up behind him. Do you know what it's like to have a sick person? Do you know what it's like when life turns on you and you don't know what can happen, and you reach a stage in life when you get sick and you need someone to bring you water, somebody who cares to go to the doctor with you? Do you know what it's like? You have a doctor's appointment and you can find not one jack soul who values you enough to take time off from work to come and take you to the doctor. Do you know what that is like? Because these things happen. So spend time with friends who are meaningful. Spend time with friends who are willing to give up so they can make you more comfortable. Spend time with someone who is going to cook a meal and bring it to you and sit with you and hold your hand and talk you through. I have a friend like that. I have a friend, he moved all the way to Las Vegas. We've been friends now for about 12 years. And I tell you, we talk about everything. He's male, I'm female. There's nothing else but just pure friendship and love. That's a friend who, when my mother was dying, He lives here. He was in Michigan at the time. I called him and asked him to go pick up my daughter in Valparaiso, Indiana. He left Michigan at 11 o'clock in the night. I drove to Valparaiso, Indiana to pick up my daughter to bring her back so she could be with her grandmother for her dying days. You know where my family members were? I ain't going anywhere. I'm not doing this. I'm not giving you my car. I'm not this. I'm not that. I do not forget. That's a friend. So when my friend moved to Las Vegas and calls me at 1 o'clock in the morning, my time, guess what? My phone rings for my friends. Just like when I need them, they're there. When they need me, I am there. That's a friend. I have another friend, Elaine. When my mother was sick, Elaine was there for me. They distracted me. She distracted me. When mom died, she distracted me. I can never repay her for that friendship. Never. She cannot live long enough for me to remember her. She isn't even on, she doesn't even do the internet or anything like that, right? Best friends. Do you see what I'm saying, right? So don't let people fool you with their shenanigans. Don't let people trick you into believing that they're friends when they're not. Let it stand the test. There is a process of attrition that comes. Let's see how people are. There's a well-known man named Prince Harry, right? Prince Harry is well-known and very wealthy, very well connected. He is, after all, a Prince of England, right? His family have been the royal family of England for more than 1,000 years, right? And Prince Harry, my friends, Prince Harry decided that to test people who come into his lives, he runs them through a test. You know how he does it? He gives them a rumor to go spread and to see if they're going to take it to another level. If they don't take it to another level and he doesn't hear it back, then he says, okay, they're trustworthy enough. But if he hears it back, he just excoriates that person. Some people, you have to trust them for a long time. Kate Middleton, the Duchess who is married to Prince Harry's brother, Prince William. Prince William is the next King of England, right? He's right in line to the throne. His wife, Kate, the Duchess, has a best friend. This person has been her best friend since high school. That girl ended up sleeping with her husband. They're no longer best friends. Some people, you don't know what they will do. Sometimes it's a walk of faith. Sometimes you have to take the person at face value. Sometimes you have to really dig deep. I'm a firm believer that people do show you what they are, but we tend to look above it. We tend not to believe it, right? Oh, you see, I know a lot about your royal family. I just read a lot because you can probably ask me stuff about the Trumps or the Kennedys, and I probably know, right? But do you see what I'm saying, right? You have to really look into people, right? I'm a firm believer that people do show you some characteristics. We just ignore it. There's no way that Kate didn't see that girl looked at William a little too long, that she was always trying to be around him. The girl demonstrated something at some point. And there are a lot of people around them. So, people will say, you better watch that one. You better watch that one. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to still pay attention. But the person who is good, don't let others push them out of your life. Learn to look at people. And when you examine them and test them and find out that they're a good person, don't let others push them away from you. Chances are they're there on a mission in your life and you need to have them, right? Not everybody comes into our lives and needs something. Not everybody is bad. Some people need to go, and yet there are some people whom you need to keep. You got to have the wisdom to know which one it is. It was just like I can sit back and look at my ex-boyfriend and laugh at him today. I laugh because he was silly. I laugh because he was too arrogant. I laugh because he didn't pay attention to what he needed to pay attention to. And he allowed people to make decisions for him, and he trusted them because he had spent time with them. He thought they had his best interest at heart, but he never really tore the veil off. And look, sometimes you have to tear the veil off. And look, even people who have been around you for 20 years, you still need to tear the veil off and look deep within to see what is there that you can trust. You really have to look at it and say, do I trust this person? Can I really take them with me where I'm going? When good people come into your life, strive to keep them. Strive to work at it, because friendship, though strong, can be fleeting. You know, there's an old saying, I'll leave you with this. It says there are sailing ships and there are wooden ships, but the best ship is friendship, and may it forever continue to sail on. I'll leave you with that. There's wooden ships and there are sailing ships, but the best ship is friendship, and may it forever sail on. Find yourselves a good friendship. And if sometimes you're lucky enough that your best friendship is the person you're married to, hallelujah, say praise the Lord. But find yourself a good friend. Stay with that friendship, nurture it, respect it, honor it, and nurture it. Because when the time comes and the going gets tough, you need friendship. Sometimes friends are better. When I was growing up, they used to say good friends are better than pocket money. Amen. Amen. So go to my website, harrietkamak.com. Thank you for being a part of my experience today. I certainly consider it an honor to be here. Thank you very much. Go to my website, harrietkamak.com, for this and other shows. Go to youtube.com, download the shows, listen to them, share them with others, right? Tell others about how positive the experience of listening to me has been for your life and what a blessing it has been. I enjoy the feedback. Thank you so much, everybody. I wish you well. Remember, there are wooden ships and there are sailing ships, but the best ship is friendship, and may it continue to sail on. Be blessed, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Have a good day. Now go out and make it a Wow Wednesday, right? Make it a Wow Wednesday. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Enjoy this. Enjoy this. Enjoy this one.